The most effective double attack is called a discover check. This is very effective because you know that your opponent has to move its king out of check or block its way or even find a way to capture your piece to get out of check. As we have here in this example, a discovered attack is an attack on your opponent's king while you're also attacking another piece as well. Now in this example, white is to move, and what we see right here is that white can move its bishop to b3, creating a check on black's king on g8. As you can see here, we now have our first check, and then white is also attacking this lone knight, unprotected knight, all the way over here on c8. As you can see, both the attacks are happening right here simultaneously, making sure that black cannot do anything to fix this position. Black has to find its way to get out of check. So therefore, if black can move here to get out of check, then white will come down here to take this knight, winning a minor piece, winning 3 points right here in this piece. In these upcoming examples, I would like to invite you to solve these tactics puzzles alongside with me, being able to test your mind and seeing if you can recognize the positions on the board and seeing if you can solve it yourself. What you can do is anytime you see this number on the screen, you can press the space bar or you can press the pause button in order to give yourself a little bit more time, and then you'll be able to solve it alongside with me. You can set up the board and even move around the pieces at home on your computer as we solve all of these together. Best of luck to you. Here we have white to move. Do you know the answer? If you said knight to e4, that is the correct answer. The reason why this is such a great move is because this knight comes here and is attacking this queen. But couldn't this queen just run around and just hide away? No, because the moment this knight moved, it opened up this bishop all the way on a1, creating a check on the king. Therefore, there's no way to block this bishop besides using this queen, but then this bishop's going to take this queen anyway. So then black has to respond by moving over here, and doesn't even matter because then white will then take the queen. And this is why discovered attacks and discovered checks are so important, because you know that black has to move its king out of check. If it does not move its king out of check, that is considered an illegal move, and there's nothing else that he can do. So what we have discovered here is moving this knight over here to attack this queen is a perfect move to be able to say, hey, once the king gets out of check, away from this bishop, this knight takes its queen. As we continue on with discovered checks, can you find the answer to this problem? If you said bishop checks the black king on h7, then you are correct. Because right now, black has to answer this bishop's check immediately, and there's no other piece to capture this bishop but besides the king itself. So the king itself is going to respond. But before we go on and have black's king capture this h7 bishop, we also, the moment the bishop moved out of its way, this rook opened up its file to attack black's queen on d6. So therefore, once black captures bishop on h7, the rook is going to come down and take the queen on d6. And even then, even if black returns back and captures this rook, you then have a slight material advantage on the chessboard. Black lost its queen, which is 9 points, and both the bishop and the rook are a total of 8 points. The rook being 5 points and the bishop being 8 points. In these next couple examples, I'm going to show you double checks. What's stronger than a single check is when you have 2 pieces attacking the king at the same time. So therefore, in this position, we have white. Can you see a strong double check that white can make on black's king here on f8? If you said bishop to d6, then you are correct, because the bishop is attacking now the king right here, check, and also have the rook open up on the f file to check the king as well. I mean, black, it could have tried to take this rook and attack this bishop, but the king is still in check, so therefore black cannot make that move. Or black could try to take this rook, but since white set up its position to still check the king, black cannot make that capture right there. So therefore the king has to be able to get out of check by either moving out of its way, or you can't even take another piece and block. You cannot block 2 double check pieces at the same time, or even try to capture one of those checking pieces. So therefore the only thing that black can do is move out of its check, and therefore black loses its bishop right here. And we'll rewind that example real quick. And if we're talking about double attacks, just like we talked about before, could we have done this? Could we have moved bishop to d7? It's probably not a good move, because even though if you have an open check right here and you have an attack on its rook right here, black can counter back with a great counter by capturing the rook on f2, then having a counter check, and white will probably capture here, but then black will save its rook, so therefore being up ahead in material possessions on this example. Here we have white to move. Can you find the right answer? If you said knight to g6, then you are correct. Let's look at this board right here. This board, black is dominating. Black has all the materials on the board, way more materials than white. If white doesn't take advantage of this specific example, then white is going to lose the game. But here, white actually can have a nice knight to g6 check. But what about this? Couldn't the queen just take this knight right here? No, because the moment the knight moved from f4 to g6, it opened up its file for the rook to then check the king at the same time. Therefore, this knight is also checking the king, and you have a double check on this king. Remember, a double check cannot be blocked or cannot capture that piece. The king has to be able to move somewhere. But look at here. The king cannot move to f7 because his rook is still attacking here, and the king cannot move to e7 because this knight is attacking here. Couldn't white move to e6 to cause a double check on black's king right here? Why is this a bad move? Because black is able to get out of check by simply going to e7. Therefore, white would have had a missed opportunity of double checking and checkmating black for the win. As you can see, the moment that the knight moved to g6, we have created a nice double check. Over here, the knight moved out of its way, creating a nice little ambush all the way down the file, checking the black king twice, and the black king cannot move here because of the knight, and cannot move here because of the rook. I'd like to take the time to thank everyone who has watched this chess tutorial video, and for all the supporters who have helped me out through all the years. This channel has grown since the first video that I made for this channel, and again, it's a big time thanks to all of you. Thank you very much for those who have subscribed to my channel, and for even hitting the like button and giving me the biggest support throughout all these years. If you would like to watch any future videos, remember you can always subscribe to this page, and you can even press the bell notification to see any future videos that I'll make in the future. Again, thank you very much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you at the next chess tutorial video.